Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Edwin. I am the Pretty Green Vinyl Guy. And today we're talking about prog rock. Yes, progressive rock has been making the rounds on the vinyl community. And I wanted to jump in and show off some of my favorite prog albums and artists. And I'm going to finish with my top 5 essential prog albums that you need to own. All right. So maybe this is the one that kind of started it all. This is King Crimson. This is In the Court of the Crimson King. This was their first album in about '69, so quite ahead of its time. If you've never heard 21st Century Schizoid Man, pause this right now, right here. Go on YouTube and put that in, and then come back and tell me what you think in the comments down below. Was just an incredible album that changed everything into the world of prog rock. So keeping with King Crimson, this is maybe one of their more popular prog albums, and a lot of people would pick this as an essential. But it is a favorite of mine. I obviously own a hard copy. This is Lark's Tongues in Aspic. And this is a little bit later, '73. And it's amazing how much they've changed even at this point. Great album. You know, you'll hear Robert Fripp's name. You'll hear John Wenton's name as a singer. And of course, you'll hear Bill Bruford. As Mazzy says, he drums on pretty much everything prog. Another band that really defined prog rock is this band. This is Yes. This is their first album from also around '69, I believe. I actually really like this album. It may not be a fully prog album. It still probably has some other elements in it. But this is a great, great early experimental rock album. And Yes were no slouches either. They followed up with many great albums. This is the Yes album. This had a Starship Trooper on it. Was sort of the well-known song off of that. And then they also had Fragile, which is probably one of their better-known albums. And again, people might be saying, hey, that should be in your top 5. This, of course, had Roundabout. Everybody knows Roundabout, Long Distance Runaround. Just a great album. Essential album to have. And another band... There's a theme too. These are all English bands. Another band that really defined prog rock was Genesis, especially the Peter Gabriel. The Peter Gabriel led Genesis. This was their final album with Peter Gabriel. This is The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, and this was a very theatrical piece. The title track is fantastic. What else was on here that was really, really essential? The Carpet Crawlers. Ooh. On fire. Yeah, Genesis. And then, of course, we have Pink Floyd. Again, many people might say this should be in my top 5. This is metal. This is a great album. This is famous for the song Echoes, which runs the whole second side. And just a great album. Side 1's no slouch either. Does it have a track listing on it? It does, but the hype stickers, my Obi strip's gonna, I don't want to move that. But yeah, metal, highly, highly recommended. Another proggy Pink Floyd album is Animals. This has, all the animal sounds in the background. This was kind of Roger Waters' ode to the novel Animal Farm by George Orwell. Actually, on the last Roger Waters tour, he played quite a bit of Animals, which was surprising and much welcomed. Great album. And then maybe a couple of more obscure artists. This is, what are these guys? This is Beggar's Opera. What a cover that is, eh? This is Pathfinder. And this is actually pretty easy to digest. You will recognize the song MacArthur's Park, which they do a cover of. This is kind of cool because it's something to look for in prog rock, of course, is the vertigo swirl. Vertigo was the quintessential prog label in the United Kingdom. And you'll see a lot of early stuff on, or early prog on that label. But check that out. If that's not prog rock, I don't know what is, man. An astronaut riding a horse. Yeah, baby. Fantastic. Another one that's might be new to some people. This is Aphrodite's Child. And this album was 666. And this is Greek prog. And this is a guy you might have heard of later called Vangelis, who, y'all remember the Chariots of Fire theme song? Again, we see this on the Vertigo Swirl. See? That's that prog rock label. This is the Apocalypse of John. No, this is based on a Bible book, which I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But this is good stuff, man. Maybe a little psychedelic, but definitely prog. There's flute on here, so it's prog. As soon as the flute is put into music, it's prog rock. Just so you know. Another early band that sort of skimmed the surface of prog rock. These guys probably made it a little more mainstream. Was Procol Harum, and of course you'll know the song A Wider Shade of Pale, and then this also had Conquistador. So that's an easy one to get into. Another easy one that was very digestible prog rock. One of my all-time favorite albums, and this was hard not to be in my top 5 essential prog. But because it just, goes a little bit to the pop rock side, I decided to leave it out of my top 5. But this is Supertramp, Crime of the Century. A must-have album that's held up very well over time. And, the songwriting, singing duo of Richard Davies and Roger Hodgson is unprecedented. And this album is fantastic. Rudy's on a Train to Nowhere. Crime of the Century, Hide in Your Shell, School. Oh my goodness. And I didn't even name the hits. Fantastic. This is another personal favorite of mine. And this goes back to the first album I showed, In the Court of the Crimson King. This is MacDonald and Giles. And these guys were in King Crimson for the Court of the Crimson King. And they left. They departed ways and ended up forming their own little band. And this was their album that came from that. I don't know if this was just self-titled. I think it is just self-titled. This is really good. Again, it skips the surface of prog. Maybe a little, I almost want to say ambient, but this is a very, very, very good, easy to listen album. And of course, being Canadian, you got to throw some Canucks in there. Now, I don't, unfortunately, on vinyl have the super early Rush, but everyone needs some Rush in their life. Again, this is kind of proggy, verging on hard rock, skimming the surface, but they had earlier albums that were 100% prog rock. And got to get some Rush. This is a perfect album, by the way. Moving Pictures. And then a little bit of prog, very close to home. This is a prog band from Vancouver Island, from the 60s. This is Ptarmigan, and this kind of skims the folk scene of prog, almost like the Canterbury scene in England, but with a little Canadian West Coast influence. So yeah, Ptarmigan. This is an original. which obviously because I live on the west coast of Canada, I was able to pick this up. But this has been reissued, so this is something that caused enough interest that they've actually reissued this album. So yeah, Google it. It's very good. Now, I wanted to finish this video. Now, these are all great albums for their own, reasons, and I love all of them. But there's 5 essential prog albums that you need to own if you want to get into prog. And let's get into them. So my number 5 record that you have to consider yourself a prog rock aficionado. Number 5 is Yes, Close to the Edge. This is an epic album that, wow. Okay, so first of all, there's only 3 songs in the whole album. That also defines a prog album. We have the title track, Close to the Edge, which is broken down into 5 sub-songs. That's also very prog. It's just not one song, it's like 5 versions of the song, or 5 parts of the song to make the song. And then on side 2, we have And You and I, which is in 4 parts. And the last part is called Apocalypse. That would also indicate that you've got a prog album on your hands. So yeah, this is the classic Yes lineup. John Anderson, of course, singing. Bill Bruford, there's that name again, on drums. Steve Howe on guitar. Chris Squire on bass. Just Google Chris Squire and listen to some of his bass over the years. And of course, the one and only Rick Wakeman, who is just an incredible organist, keyboard player. So yeah. Now that's another thing about prog, is you gotta have these cool album covers. So number 5 on my must own. Number 4, there they are again, King Crimson, led by Robert Fripp and Bill Bruford on drums, and John Wenton. There's those 3 names again. This is Red. This was, I think, their 6th, 7th album. This came out in about 74. Power Trio. People talk about Power Trio albums, and this one never. People talk about Hendrix, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Cream, The Police. How about King Crimson at this variation with just the 3 of them on there? This is a great album. This is prog, almost hitting hard rock-ish type, but it's a very digestible. Like the second one I showed, The Lark's Tongues and Aspic. This is a heavy listen, man. You got to be in the right mood at the right place at the right time, maybe with the right drugs and the right drink. And this is a journey. This isn't just like, I'm going to throw an album on and like dance around the room. This is like, oh my God, I need a degree in prog rock to understand this album. Okay? This album is easy. Even I can get into this album. No, Red is great. Highly, highly recommend it. 4 songs. Oh no, sorry, 3 songs. 3 songs on side 1, 2 songs on side 2. So 5 songs. When a song breaks 12 minutes, then you might have a prog album. Okay? Number 3 on my list of the 5 essential prog albums you need to own. How about that one? Aqualung. This is Jethro Tull. Ian Anderson's Jethro Tull. I have a couple of other Jethro Tull on CD. This is the only one I have on vinyl. This is the Steve Wilson remix. This sounds incredible. Highly recommend it. Love, love, love Aqualung. Wow. And I mean, this is just a great album all the way through. It's got that medieval sound. That's another thing. You might have a prog record in your hands if it's got a medieval sound in the background. This has got the flute. Talked about the flute. That's essential. Yeah, just an incredible album. My favorite opening line for a song is the title track, Aqualung. Sitting on a park bench, eyeing little girls with bad intent. Oh my goodness. Check out Aqualung. My number 2 of the 5 essential prog albums you need to own is Genesis. This is Selling England by the Pound. Again, Foxtrot, Nursery Crime, which I have on CD, are very good. But this is, again, very digestible. This is easy listening. It's very English sounding. You know, you'll hear, and you'll know these songs, some of them when you hear them right away, even though you don't think you know anything about prog rock. I Know What I Like in Your Wardrobe. It's like an ode to Alice in Wonderland and the Mad Hair. Lewis Carroll sprinkled through this beautiful album by, Peter Gabriel, Mr. Phil Collins on drums. Who was I just reading? Said that, was it Neil Peart? Said that he thought that Phil Collins' drumming on this album was some of the best drumming and his favorite in music. That's a pretty big, pat on the back, isn't it? Phil Collins. And then you've got the wonderful Michael Rutherford. You've got Steve Hackett. Now there's a name synonymous with prog. And of course, the Tony Banks on keyboard. Check this out. If you don't know early Genesis, this is the album to start with. It's very easy to listen to. It's a great listen. You're going to really love it. And my number 1 choice of the top 5 prog albums you need to own, and you know what? You probably already own it. This is Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. And this is the ultimate prog rock album. This has clocks. This has mad people talking. This has, amazing ranges. And, it's just, we all know this album. And that would be my number 1 choice for the best prog album that you need to own. You guys, there you go. I am no expert in prog. I like what I like. But I think those 5 albums are something you need to own. Check it out. Leave comments below. If there's a prog album I need to listen to, please put it in the comments below. If you like my channel and like what you're seeing, please subscribe. And I hope to do more videos like this. There you go, everybody. Have a great day. Peace, everyone.